Welcome back to the Hitstick, Dallas. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How we doing?
Good, man. Ready for the championship games?
Yes, sir.
Gonna be a good week of football. Two
It
really good
is.
games.
I'm excited. My Super Bowl favorite's still in it.
So is mine. So is mine. But you want to recap this past week of games because there were some really good matchups this past week.
Yeah, there was.
A lot of the games went the way I really expected. I'm pretty sure I was perfect on predictions this week.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Rub it in.
Oh, I will. But before we get to that, let's introduce our guest this week, Luco. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited for the playoffs this weekend and see what happens. We've got a bunch of good matchups, like you guys said, so we'll see where it goes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. I'll try not to torture you too much.
You can't do much more than my team
Play
did this
fair.
season, so
Play fair.
you
He's
can't do
taking
much.
shots at his own team. Oh,
You can't do much
no.
more than my own team did this season, so we'll be all right.
I feel for you, brother. Trust me.
Oh
Mhm,
man.
mhm.
All right. So
Heartstrings.
to recap this past week of games, we had the Jaguars playing the Chiefs, had the Giants playing the Eagles, the Bengals played the Bills, and the Cowboys played the 49ers. Great set of matchups for the divisional rounds. Definitely an interesting matchup with the Chiefs and the Jaguars. I don't think a lot of teams expected to have the Jaguars in the playoffs. Or a lot of people expected the Jaguars to be in the playoffs this year, let alone make it this far into the playoffs. They had a hell of a season, though. Doug Peterson really
really did.
turned that
This
team
is-
around.
Jacksonville, bro. What a man. That bright future maybe for that team. Holy.
I
Trevor
think
Lawrence.
Said that ever.
it's a big thing, and he's saying it right now. Trevor Lawrence definitely found himself this year. He found his footing in the NFL. He slowed the game down. I think is the biggest thing for him. He was rushing a lot in his first two
Mhm.
seasons in the NFL. He was playing too fast.
Mhm.
And now he's taken I guess he took a step back, found who he was as a quarterback, figured out how to run as like a true NFL quarterback, and he's actually developing into a very solid option for them.
And you can't forget how much Jacksonville spent for him too, as well. I mean, spending the contract they gave to Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, and a couple other guys.
Oh yeah, they gave him weapons.
They gave him the tools he needed to succeed, and also another thing, everything that Trevor Lawrence went through is typical for a rookie quarterback in the NFL.
It's
I
true.
call it the Patrick Mahomes effect. Now, ever since Patrick Mahomes entered the league, everybody expects a rookie quarterback to turn their team around. The first year that he's playing for the team, that's totally unrealistic. Defenses are insanely good in the NFL. It's very hard for a rookie quarterback to adjust to that. They typically don't play good in the first year. Stop having the expectation that they're going to turn your team around. Not everybody's Pat Mahomes.
It's very true. I mean, people expect way too much out of rookie quarterbacks. The transition,
Crazy.
it takes time. It does.
Yep.
It really doesn't happen where you have a quarterback come into the league their first season and put up MVP numbers. It just
Exactly.
doesn't happen realistically.
Exactly.
It takes either like a year or two, honestly, before they develop into like a true like NFL quarterback.
Yep.
Because that transition, it's tough. College football is a completely different game than the NFL.
Totally different.
The levels of talent on each NFL roster, because there's only 32 teams in the NFL. However many colleges there are in college football.
Yep.
Like it's night and day. It really is.
The best of the best, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to forget that in college they had the same scheme for 4 years as well.
Exactly.
It's true. Yeah, that's also very true. Things aren't changing on the fly.
We're probably, honestly, I've been following football my entire life, or at least ever since I can remember things. And my dad he's an old man, okay? And I don't think he's even witnessed something like a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes numerous times in his life. So, like, take that, how you want. But Patrick Mahomes is, he's a very rare breed. So
Yeah, no, he definitely is. He's not. You don't see this. This is generational.
yeah,
Like,
let's keep the same expectations we've had since the dawn of the NFL with these rookie quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Let's get rid
However,
of the Patrick Mahomes effect, please.
I think we have a couple. We have a possibility of maybe one or two coming up in this upcoming draft, but we're not here for the draft. We're here for the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, 100%. So the first matchup was obviously the Jaguars Chiefs. This game was actually a very good game. The Jaguars
It was
played.
good.
The Jaguars played ball.
They kept it closer than I thought. It was
I
gonna be.
I genuinely do believe though, with the injury to Pat Mahomes that happened in this game, it slowed the Chiefs down. It did. And I think that's what kept the Jaguars in this game because I truly believe if Pat Mahomes was fully healthy, this game would have been a lot worse for them.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen any of the stuff on social media about him in practice and stuff like
Oh
that?
yeah, he looks
He
normal.
looks totally fine.
Yeah, he looks normal.
Like he never had an ankle sprain. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't know what kind of invincibility serum they injected into that.
I don't know what's in the water in Kansas City, but
right.
no, he literally was like running around on the field like he wasn't even hurt.
Yep.
Because like if you watch this Chiefs game, like he was hobbled, like he could barely put weight on his ankle. He was hobbling around. The few scrambles that he had, like he obviously did not have the speed that he normally has. Like he was definitely slower. He was not moving around as much in the pocket. He wasn't scrambling like he normally does.
He
Wasn't rolling around. Oh yeah, like. And he was making jump passes too. He wasn't he wasn't throwing off his back foot, which his right ankle is the one he hurt.
Yeah.
He was throwing off his left foot and making jump passes to avoid pressure, like putting weight on his right ankle. It's a bad injury. A high ankle sprain is what he has. It typically can keep an NFL player out 3 to 4 weeks, realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, it kept Sam Darnold out for I want to say almost 10 weeks because his was in the first week of preseason.
Yeah, I mean, like. The injury it's a serious injury. It really is. Like the fact that he played through it is insane.
It's a serious injury, but it depends really on like the grade of the sprain. I mean, I played football. I had a few high ankle sprains myself as a lineman, so like it really depends on the player. Some players recover really quickly. You know, those things typically hurt a lot in the moment, which is probably why he was hobbling during the game. He just did it, so he's probably in a lot of pain during the game. Depending on the grade of the sprain, if it's not like a serious sprain, I mean, like obviously we saw it. It looked like it could have been, but we don't know Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? So
I mean, we knew he wanted to stay on the field, so he was going to play.
Yeah, he's going to stay on the field, but I mean, from what I've seen, it looked like it wasn't a serious sprain. It's probably just minimal pain. I mean, he was walking on it good, so.
I mean, it was enough for them to pull him out of the game, and I mean, injuries are injuries. It looked rough.
Yeah.
The highlight looked rough. Like watching it back, it looked bad. Like it was a scary injury.
Really bad after that too, because nobody wants to hurt another person.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Unless you're Sean Payton's
Yikes.
Saints, but.
It was a good game, though. It really was.
I was actually, I thought that game was going to be a blowout. For me, that was my blowout of the week. So,
I genuinely think though the injury is what kept this game close. Like they weren't being aggressive on offense. Pat Mahomes wasn't taking risks. He was just doing what he needed to do to win the game.
Yep.
What I was really impressed with was how Chad Henne came in off the bench for the one drive where Pat Mahomes was in the locker room.
Yep.
He went 98 yards, which is like a playoff record, I'm pretty sure, for a backup quarterback to go 98 yards and score a touchdown.
Records get made every day in the NFL. It's crazy.
Chad Henne's a good backup quarterback. He really is. He was good in Miami. He was good in Miami as a starter. It's a system thing, I think, in this situation, though. That Chiefs offense is just scary.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like any quarterback could play for Andy Reid, so.
It's just a scary offense. It really is.
Yep.
Being able to throw to Travis Kelce is literally just like...
It's cheat codes.
It is.
Say what it is. It's cheat codes.
It is. Literally.
Travis Kelce went 14 receptions for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. You never see that out of a tight end unless you have...
He's having a career year, man.
The one thing I will say about this Chiefs offense is if you can shut down Travis Kelce, who steps up?
I don't think there really is anyone that can step up except for the running game.
That's what I'm saying. So that's the one thing I'm looking for going forward. Is if you can shut down Travis Kelce in this offense, who steps up? And if there is nobody else, that's a situation that I'm looking at. Because
I
if you can eliminate their entire offense, because Travis Kelce pretty much is their offense,
Mm-hmm.
that can be scary. If the Bengals can figure that out next week, then
The thing
Yep.
the thing with the Chiefs is they don't have bad wide receivers by necessity. They've got Kadarius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster,
Yeah.
solid,
and
solid,
MBS. Solid
solid.
receivers, right? Like
Mhm.
they're not bad.
No,
The thing that the Chiefs' whole scheme was they used the draw and the capability of Travis Kelsey to open up the field for everyone else. So if you try to shut down Travis, you got to go back outside to Juju or MBS or somebody else.
true.
And their offense is so high powered with how accurate and capable Patrick Mahomes is. You just can't.
Yeah,
You know?
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. You can't triple team Travis Kelce and expect Pat Mahomes to not throw to somebody else.
I honestly believe. I mean, if you've watched Chiefs football all year, I mean, every game, 10 people touch the football in the passing game. So, I'm like, for me, the Chiefs have the most complete receiving core in the NFL. Like any of those dudes can go make a play.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
especially when Patrick Mahomes is throwing the football, it's like I bet it's probably super easy for these guys to make a play. So, honestly, if Kelsey has a bad day, I can honestly see the ball is just going to be dished around more times to Tony, Juju, those guys. Isaiah Pacheco's been great in the passing game for them. Actually, he's been like an even better like Edwards-Helaire this year, like since he's played. Honestly,
It's more
So-
so Jerick McKinnon than it is Pacheco. Jerick McKinnon's been
yeah,
phenomenal in the
but-
passing game this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say they've both had an impact this year, in that offense.
Yeah, that's true. It's Pat Mahomes though. He'll get the ball in your hands.
he's-
he will get the ball in your hands.
He's gonna find somebody to throw.
You could be a seventh string player on the offense, and Pat Mahomes will find you somehow.
Yep. Oh, what's that invisible guy? I've seen him a couple times in training camp. Oh,
Exactly.
wait, he's open. He's open. Oh, 70 yards, touchdown. Who is that?
Yeah, definitely. The next game we had was the Giants-Eagles game. This was actually wild. I wasn't expecting this to be the blowout game of the week.
I knew it was going to be.
Me neither.
I really wasn't expecting this. Not this. I was
I knew
expecting
it
the
was
Eagles to
gonna be.
win, but I didn't expect this.
So the issue that I had with the Giants getting paired up with the Eagles, credit to Brian Dable, by the way, to turn this team around the way that he did.
Yep, it's my coach of the year. My coach of the year.
First of all, they ran 9 times with Saquon Barkley.
Yep, problem.
Saquon was averaging almost 7 yards per carry. Problem.
Big problem.
But let's talk about how high flying the corners are for the Eagles defense, and how just not the receivers are for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
You've got what I think their top target was Richie James.
Richie James in this game.
You've got Richie James, Darius Slayton, and Isaiah Hodgins, but then you've got I know Maddox is out, but you've got Darius Slay and
Bradbury.
James Bradbury as your 1 and 2. You're not doing anything whenever you've got people like Richie James and Darius Slayton.
No.
They should have stuck to their bread and butter. They should have just ran the ball with Saquon, controlled the game, and then it wouldn't have been 38-7.
The running game would have opened up the offense, though. That's the thing. Like, you had Saquon running the ball. He was running it well. I truly believe, though, that they had to abandon it because it got bad quick. The Eagles were scoring without, they literally, they couldn't stop them. Every single drive was a score.
The mistake, I think, where this game went bad for the Giants is where they went for it on 4th down and let the Eagles go up 2 scores.
Oh, early on, yes, yeah. The first
early
drive
decision is what set the tone for this game, where they never recovered from that.
They went for it on 4th down at the 5-yard line.
That's the big mistake that the Giants made in this game. That just the momentum just never came back in their favor.
But it's a rookie coach. It's trying to make something happen. He took a risk.
He took a chance.
He took a risk, and it backfired. Yes, but I mean, at the end of the day, you have to do what you have to do to win a game, and that was his chance. He took a shot. It failed, obviously, but he took a shot, And that
Yeah.
sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all it takes to win a game. Honestly, is just
Mhm.
taking a shot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if he had swung that momentum and capitalized on that 4th and 1, we could be talking about a totally.
Oh, it'd have been a
Oh,
totally
it could have
different
been a
ballgame.
completely different game. Yeah,
I
you
think
gave the
Eagles
momentum
could
to the
win it.
Eagles, and they just didn't slow down after that.
I
Like,
think
they
the Eagles could
scored.
win it no matter what. But
I,
know.
I agree too. I'm just saying, like, the Eagles, they scored.
when you have Miles
Slight
Sanders
momentum there. You have the Giants driving. They
Yep.
fail to convert a 4th down. The Eagles get the ball at midfield. That's a huge momentum shift right there. Then they go down and score again. The Giants get the ball back. They have to punt. The Eagles get the ball. They go down and score again. Like, you're down 21-0 right like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not easy to come back from.
Yeah.
I mean, and then when you have Miles Sanders running for 90 yards, and then Kenneth Gainwell running for 112, I mean, you can't do anything about
No,
that.
you really can't. Even Jalen Hurts and Boston Scott. Boston Scott, a 3rd-string running back, out here with 30 yards on 6 carries. Jalen Hurts really wasn't scrambling much because of the shoulder injury. I understand that. That makes complete sense.
Yep.
To try and protect your quarterback. But he still scrambled the ball a little bit. He still ran the ball. He still converted a lot. Used his legs. Got a touchdown. Like, it's Jalen Hurts. At the end of the day, he's going to move the ball. Like, he's got the talent for it.
And let's see. The Eagles also had at least one interception. I know James Bradbury had a really good interception on a short route.
Yeah,
And then
he
they
jumped
just had
it.
a monster amount of sacks, and the Giants just had nothing in the pressure game or the takeaway, which is really unfortunate because I was extremely hype on Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and Leonard Williams just kind of piecing together that front line.
It's that Eagles offensive line, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's that offensive line is scary. Every single one of them on that line. Literally, you have 4 All-Pros on that offensive line. 4.
Yeah.
And their 5th guy could have been one.
Yep.
Right.
That's how scary that offensive line is. Lane Johnson, All-Pro. Freaking Jason Kelsey, All-Pro. Landon Dickerson, All-Pro. Freaking Isaac Mailata, All-Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And then freaking Sumola or whatever, I can't pronounce his name, but he's their right guard, and that dude is phenomenal too. So every single one of those guys, it's tough to get to Jalen Hurts with those guys in front. It really is. The biggest mistakes the Eagles make are when an offensive lineman gets double teamed. That's literally like, if an offensive lineman gets double teamed, and it opens it up for like a secondary guy to get into the pocket. That's the Eagles' biggest issue. Like, and it's up the middle, and their biggest issue is their right guard, and he is good.
They
So
would have had to put the Giants would have had to put Leonard Williams and their other defensive tackle. I can't remember. I just said his name, but it's escaping me
Dexter
right now.
Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence. They would have had to put them over the top of one guy just to commit the double team and have Kayvon Thibodeau just sit not on the line but in the box and just rush through the center.
See, the problem is you have Jason Kelsey there. Jason Kelsey's getting all the blocks, and if you get pressure up the middle, Jalen Hurts is just going to roll to the outside, and there's nobody out there because you're blitzing up the middle. So
you could pull a book out of something out of a Phil Snow book. Phil Snow this season before the Panthers fired Matt Rule and his entire staff left him. He blitzed the safety in the corners an awful lot. And it seemed to have a lot of effect on those offensive lines that, really gave their quarterback an opportunity to either scramble if he had to, or, just gave them plenty of time.
See, the Giants don't have those kinds of safeties, though. They have zone safeties. Xavier McKinney is a zone safety. He's a great zone safety, but he's a zone safety. He stays in coverage. He doesn't come down into the pocket. He doesn't come into the box to blitz. That's just not who he is, and I don't know who the hell their other safety is, honestly. But
I think J.C. Horn ended up with like 2 or 3 sacks on the air just because of that scheme. But you got to do with what you work with. If you don't have a more aggressive or a more physical guy like J.C. Horn or Jeremy Chin was one of the better safeties to do it this year. You just can't, obviously.
a tough end to a good season for the Giants. It really was. I genuinely thought Daniel Jones would have brought more to the table in this game. He just
at least talk about the improvement of Daniel Jones this season.
I mean, he had a great season. great season. I think Brian Dable is the leading cause of that.
Well,
He's getting talent out of what he has on his roster.
right.
Literally.
Brian Dable was the offensive coordinator for the Bills
Yep.
last year, and we saw Josh Allen go from a turnover machine in
MVP,
college to
basically.
to settle down MVP, and now look at him again this year. One of the worst red zone turnover percentages in the league.
He struggled, and it showed.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. They definitely lost a lot when they lost Brian Dable. Brian Dable was a big upgrade for this Giants organization. 100%. The roughest part about this Giants team is like if they had one receiver, just one. This
If I had
team,
Odell Beckham, they'd be all right.
this team would have been so much better. Like so much better than they already were. It's unfortunate, it really is. But great win for the Eagles, tough loss for the Giants.
Yeah.
Next game was the Bills Bengals, the rematch of 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago. This was another interesting one. I wasn't expecting this game to go the way it did. It was a snow game, which is always tough. Not a crazy snow game. It wasn't coming down like massively like a blizzard, but it definitely affected both quarterbacks in my opinion. Both quarterbacks were making some rough throws. I think the balls were slipping a little bit with the snow. Josh Allen just made more mistakes, which I was not expecting. Definitely didn't see the Bills only putting up 10 points in this game at home, especially after the season they had with all of the ups and downs that they had. Josh Allen obviously getting hurt mid-season, played through it, but obviously still hurt. The injuries piled up, losing Von Miller, the Damar Hamlin situation, which is a whole other story that I don't really need to get into, because we've already talked about it. Lot of ups and downs for this team, and they had so much behind them, so much support behind them. To only put up 10 points was interesting. They definitely got outcoached in this game.
Yeah.
I think that's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these teams that we see in the playoffs have a solid running and passing attack, right? They're just kind of a whole. Their offense is just whole, right? They've got everything they could possibly need. And again, just talking about teams not doing what they should be doing, their bread and butter. Devin Singletary and James Cook both. You combine the two, and you have less than 50 rushing yards.
The Bills haven't had a running game this year at all, though. They really haven't. Josh Allen was leading rusher in almost a good majority of their games this year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he was their leading rusher this year, and that's not good.
Right, but when you have Joe Mixon on the other side with 100 yards on 20 carries, I mean that's just not a recipe for success.
Definitely not.
You're not going to win football games late into the season without having something to allow you to manage the game and manage the flow of the what's the word the momentum.
Yep, no, definitely. The one thing I want to point out: where's Stephon Diggs in this game?
Right.
Where is he?
35 yards?
4 catches for 35 yards. Where's Stephon Diggs?
Right.
This is the biggest game of your season. At the time, it was their biggest game of the season.
Yep.
Where's Stephon Diggs?
Right.
Who was on him? Chidobe Awuzie? Was that who was covering Stephon Diggs in this game?
I don't think they had a Awuzie on Diggs. I think they actually did the put the 2 and then the safety over top.
Or was it Eli Apple?
Yeah, I mean I know they've had a bunch of beef on social media between the two in the last few days after that game, so it might have been Eli Apple with the safety over the top.
You know what I will say? I'm gonna point it out for this game at least. I don't know about the whole season. I know he did have a solid season, but not a crazy season. Cam Taylor, the rookie, that dude had a phenomenal game. Him in coverage, he was shutting down anyone he was covering. And he had a pick in this game. Hell of a step up for a big game like this. For a rookie. For a rookie corner. He's not a well-known rookie corner. He was drafted in the 3rd, 4th round as a Bengal. But that's phenomenal. That stat line. 6 tackles. He had an interception. He shut down who he was guarding. He was a highlight reel in this game on defense for the Bengals.
Yeah. My takes on the Bills losing this game is Josh Allen made mistakes.
Yep.
Which he's done numerous times this season. So
Yep.
it's just a game that he couldn't do the mistakes and did. And another thing that I said weeks ago is losing Von Miller is going to hurt this team late in the playoffs.
It did.
It did.
They had no pressure on Joe Burrow.
They needed Von Miller in this game. There's not a defensive player in the NFL with more playoff experience than Von Miller. He knows how to win in the playoffs. He knows how to get his team ready for the playoffs, and he knows how to play in a playoff game. I think
Joe Burrow in the pocket with time is lethal.
I-6, man.
It's lethal.
The best progression in the NFL.
It's like fucking mini Peyton Manning right here.
Yep.
Literally.
The best progression in football, and that's saying a lot considering Pat Mahomes exists.
Yep.
The best progression.
Definitely.
So they needed Von Miller in this game, and he's got a serious injury. So
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like I said, it's a tough end to the Bills season for sure.
Yep.
With everything that they've had up and down this year, and all of the like the support they've had through it all, it's just a tough end to them for their season. They got outcoached though. Zach Taylor put together a great game plan for this team.
Yep.
And they executed it perfectly. They ran the ball well. They threw the ball well. They didn't commit any turnovers.
Yep. 100%.
I'm pretty sure they only had 2 penalties in this game too. They literally just played a better game all around.
Mm-hmm.
Good win for the Bengals. They have a big matchup this week, but a good win for them. The last game was the Cowboys-Niners. This game was interesting, to say the least.
Not shocked.
I mean, I'm not surprised by the outcome. Wasn't expecting it to be this close, though.
I was expecting it to be close.
Not this close. No way.
I think that Dak Prescott did Dak Prescott things
He did.
on both sides. You know,
Yes.
he played well, and then he also played terribly. And that's the issue that you get with Dak Prescott. You don't know which one you're gonna get. You know,
Losing Tony Pollard killed this team.
Oh, 100%.
Killed it.
100%.
Dak Prescott is not the future of the Dallas Cowboys. That dude should not be being paid what he is being paid. They have to figure something out quick.
Cowboys dropped the ball by not getting more weapons because CeeDee Lamb, that dude's talented.
Yeah.
But when it's just CeeDee Lamb,
right,
that's a problem.
Right. You lose Amari Cooper and you don't replace him in hopes of Michael Gallup to step up coming off of an injury. Granted, they started realizing what they had in Tony Pollard and utilizing him more and having a change of pace capability with Zeke. It's not enough.
That's the thing. You have 2 guys at that point. You need more than just 2 people.
Right.
So when you lose Tony Pollard, you just have CeeDee Lamb. And the same thing could have happened. Like, CeeDee Lamb could have gone down with an injury. And then all you have is what, Tony Pollard? I mean, it's not a recipe for success. It really isn't.
Everything that I've seen about this game, them losing falls on Dak Prescott. He made mistakes. He missed plays that were touchdowns. There was a play where T.Y. Hilton was wide open. If he just throws the ball to him, T.Y. Hilton scores a touchdown.
Oh.
So, like, this loss is 100% on Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott didn't make the plays he did.
It is 100% on Dak Prescott. 100%.
Like, even with what they lost, I mean, the Cowboys have a great defense.
Yeah.
Like, the Cowboys are a great overall team. They just needed their quarterback, the most important position on a football team, to put forth a decent game.
And if you remember what I said last week, the Cowboys needed to get pressure on Brock Purdy in order to have a chance, and they were getting pressure on Brock Purdy.
Yeah, they have Micah Parsons on the other
And
on that.
it really wasn't Micah Parsons either. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so like when I say they have Micah Parsons is definitely going to draw attention for that
Oh, he did.
offensive line.
He definitely did.
So if he's getting a lot of attention, that opens up room for somebody like DeMarcus Lawrence to step up.
It was up the middle. It was nose tackles getting pressure.
Exactly. That whole defense is good, like from front to back. So
Talking about pressure, did any of you guys see Michael Parsons just hip check the offensive lineman into oblivion
Yeah.
on a rush?
Yep.
I think it was like halfway through the third quarter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was disgusting.
This game got scrappy too, though.
Mm-hmm.
oh, it was a rematch.
Cheap shots galore.
It was a rematch. This is a serious game. But like regardless, I mean, all Dak Prescott had to do was play decent. He just didn't have to play terrible or bad. But he played terrible.
That's another
So
crazy thing.
They lost.
That's the crazy thing is Dak Prescott lost them this game, and their
Yeah.
defense kept them in it because the 49ers
Yep.
really didn't do anything crazy offensively.
Yeah.
They really didn't. The running game was okay. Brock Purdy just did what he needed to do. He didn't do anything crazy.
Both of those guys are literally are playing the same role. All they have to do is not suck, and they win games. All they have to do is not suck.
You're not wrong. That's literally what it came down to. Is literally the mistakes by Dak Prescott cost them this game. They were moving the ball. They were, because Dak was driving them down the field, and he just throws his interceptions when he shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Two bad interceptions in key situations where they could have taken leads, honestly.
Yeah, both of the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers offensive schemes are literally just don't be dumb.
They're very easy to, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Both of their offensive schemes are literally don't be dumb. And you win games because they're both of their defenses are just so stifling and
Yep.
will choke you out with no second thought.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing I will point out, George Kittle is disgusting. That man is a freak of nature. The one catch he had where he literally bobbled it off his face mask and still made the catch was insane. Like, insane.
I know I've said this to you guys a couple times, but I still maintain the argument that George Kittle is the number one tight end in the NFL. He just doesn't get the targets that Travis Kelce does.
That's because there's other options.
Yep. But I 100% George Kittle is easily the best blocking tight end in the NFL.
Yeah.
But just as an overall capability, if George Kittle was put into that Chiefs offense, I think it would be even crazier than what we see out of Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree. I mean, Kelce draws more attention. He's more of a blocker. They utilize him in the blocking game.
Mm-hmm.
Kittle is not a blocker. Kittle is a receiver. Kittle goes out and he runs routes, and he draws attention, but he runs routes. He doesn't block. He doesn't scheme. Like that's what they utilize Kelce. That's the difference between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Kittle is a true receiver. I think that's what he is. Kelce has more of an overall aspect to it. Like, he helps in the run game. He helps block in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
He draws attention. He baits for other players. Great win up for the 49ers. Tough loss for the Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. I know we lost Dallas' internet went out, so he should be back. But we can move on to the conference championship matchup. Will be good.
Heyo.
Niners Eagles. This is the first matchup of the week. It's the 3:30 game, I believe. It's in Philly. Who are you going with in this game?
Man, it's a really, really tough choice. Both teams are just so solid on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
I want Christian McCaffrey to have a chance at a chip, which I don't think he would have.
As a Panthers fan, I can appreciate that.
As a Panthers fan, I want Christian McCaffrey to have a chance at a chip. So for the hometown boy, I'm going with the 49ers. However, either team deserves to be in the big game.
I respect that. I'm taking the Eagles solely off of the fact that that defense headhunts.
Mhm.
They pressure the quarterback. And if you look at the 49ers, they have a rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks, when they get pressured, tend to make mistakes. And if they
Right.
make mistakes, games can get away from them.
Right.
That's what I see happening in this game. I see lots of pressure. I know the 49ers have an offensive line. They have the best left tackle in the game. Outside that though, they have some gaps in that offensive line. They have a rookie right guard, I believe it is, Spencer Burford. Um they have weaker links on that offensive line. If the
Right.
pressure gets to Brock Purdy and he makes mistakes, because rookie quarterbacks do make mistakes, Brock Purdy is not exempt from that statement. He is a rookie quarterback. He can make mistakes. It's going to happen eventually.
It's
If you
going to
pressure
happen.
him, it's going to happen, like straight up.
Right.
So that's the way I see it. They have a lot of pressure to get to Brock Purdy. They have good secondary in Slay, in Bradbury, in Gardner Johnson, in Marcus Epps.
Right.
I think if they get the pressure on him, I genuinely think that the Eagles can pull away from this.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens whenever it comes to adding pressure in his face. But I want to, I want to, I don't. Was Chase Young playing at the end of December? Do we know
He
if
was,
he was? He
yes,
was.
yeah.
Okay. I want to say having the example of the Washington Commanders game with somebody just as impressive as Chase Young and not being faltered by that. I want to. We've seen Brock Purdy cool, calm, and collected most of the season.
Oh yeah,
I want to say just with the way Kyle Shanahan's offense and everything is designed, they're gonna have to do a lot to knock him off his just
I agree.
solace.
I agree. Yeah. The one thing I will say, this is the biggest stage that Brock Purdy's ever been on in his entire career. In his entire career, this game here, this championship game, they move on. The Super Bowl will obviously be the biggest stage he's ever been on, but this is the biggest stage he's ever been on, ever. Even past, if you go back to college, he played at Iowa State.
Right.
He never beat Iowa, to be completely fair with you. But that's for another story.
So this isn't a team of quarterback or a battle of quarterbacks that we haven't seen before though. Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy have both faced each other before
They
in
have.
college.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it's a cool little story. It was Iowa State versus Oklahoma back in November of 2019. They both put up impressive numbers. I think it would be really cool if we could see a remake of that game. Brock Purdy was 282 passing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. And Jalen Hurts came out with 273 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns. So
Yep.
if it's this game is going to be either a high flying, offensive powered, everybody's going everywhere, or we're going to see like 10-point game, like total of 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. It could be a high scoring game, or these two defenses could step up, and it could just be a bunch of punts or turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it could generally go either way. It really could. Both these teams are very evenly matched, in my opinion. Honestly, they really are.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really just comes down to who's going to make a mistake first, and
Right.
with pressure and, like I said, a rookie quarterback. Not trying to knock Brock Purdy. He's had a phenomenal season, but rookie quarterbacks do make mistakes. And if you put
Right.
pressure on a quarterback, and not even just a rookie quarterback, you put pressure on any quarterback in the NFL, they're bound to make a mistake.
Right.
All it takes is one bad
Yeah.
throw, one bad pass, one bad play. It could turn the
Right.
game around. So
The only thing I'll say about this Niners Eagles game coming up, and sorry about the technical difficulties that I just had.
all good.
Oh, good man.
Um, Brock Purdy's is on a team with a defense that's so good that even if he makes a few mistakes in this game, his defense is so good that it could bail him out.
Oh yeah, it could. It genuinely could. All I'm saying is all it takes is one play.
It,
Oh,
One
you're
mistake
100%.
could
You're 100%
could
right.
set
But
this game completely.
Mm-hmm.
That one bad play in that Giants game changed the entire game, literally. Last week for the Eagles, like one bad play could change the entire game.
For
yeah.
either team. For either team.
Like, the same exact thing could happen to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts could make one bad throw, and that would be the game, literally.
Yeah, let's not forget the fact that Jalen Hurts has only been in the league for what,
This is his third
3
year.
or
His
4
third
years?
season.
It's his third season. Like,
Yep.
he's not invincible either.
No,
You know,
definitely not.
especially when you have the rushing the
You have Nick
pass rush.
Bosa, you have Eric Armstead, yo.
Right. Nick Bosa in the run for Defensive Player of the Year. Eric
Should win it.
Armstead, one of the just easiest way to define consistent.
Yep.
You know,
Mhm.
and so it's gonna be the entire game is gonna be 100% a battle of mindset. Who is gonna get their
Hurts has been here.
Who,
Hurts has
yeah.
been here.
But who's gonna? It's gonna be who gets rattled first is what it comes down to.
Yep.
I think that Kyle Shanahan, as a more experienced head coach with Nick Sirianni being a first year, I think that
Sirianni's
if that
been here
happens,
too.
yes.
Let's not
but
put
as-
that. Let's not take that away from him. He has been
right,
here.
but not as the leader. He's always been he's
Last
been
year.
there as the
They made it to the divisional round last year.
Okay, never mind. You're right. You're right. They did make it to the
Jalen Hurts
divisional
and
round
Nick
last year.
Sirianni made it to the divisional round last year. I'm
But,
not taking it away from him. I'm not trying to say
Yeah, but as
that
an
Shanahan is
overall,
not better in my like. I'm just saying they've been there. They have
Out
the
of the two,
experience.
Out of the two, though, with the capability, just to get to my point, out of the two, with the capability and experience that we see between the two, if someone does get rattled, I think that Kyle Shanahan has the better opportunity to get them back where they need to be.
I agree. The only thing I will say with Brock Purdy, he's never had a game of this caliber ever. Jalen Hurts has been here. He has. He's played at the highest levels at Oklahoma. He's played in the playoffs in the NFL. So he has experience to some degree. Not to the most degree. Brock Purdy's never been here before. So
Right.
I'm not trying to take away anything from Brock Purdy. All I'm saying is that he's never played at this level. So at some point, something could get to him.
Right.
It may happen in this game, it may not. Brock Purdy has proven that, obviously, up until this point, that nothing has been difficult for him. So
Easily.
we'll have to see how it plays out, because, like, us talking about it is not going to prove anything.
Oh,
It's
no.
all speculation and guessing at this point.
100%.
It's going to be a great game either way.
This
Whether
game's
it's
not gonna be
whether it's an
offensive.
all offense, no defense, or if it's an all defense, no offense. Both ways, this game's going to be a great game. And it's probably going to come down to one play either way.
There's no way that D'Amico Ryan's defense is gonna let the Eagles do what they want easy.
Oh,
It's not going to be easy.
it's
No
gonna
one
be
said it's
hard
gonna be
on both
easy.
sides of the ball.
That
No one
game-
said it's going to
this-
be easy.
This is my game of the week right here, man. It's my game of the week.
This will be a good
Niners are
game.
my Super Bowl favorite. That defense is so much to overcome.
They're yours.
Mm-hmm.
That defense is so good, man. They lead the league in almost every stat.
So let's go to this next game then. Hold on. Let's go to this next game. This Bengals Chiefs game. Luco, what's your pick in this game?
Huh, man. Joe Burrow hasn't lost a game to Patrick Mahomes yet, man.
We
I'm gonna be
know.
honest with you. I think that the Chiefs' defense is not ready for the Bengals' offense. Just as an overall, I do
I
not
agree.
think the Chiefs' defense is ready. I think that it will be a shootout. I don't think either, and I think we'll have to look and see where Patrick Mahomes is with his injury. Because it very well could be just another time management game for Andy Reid and the Chiefs. And if that happens, the Bengals should just run all over them.
That's the way I see it too. That was before I saw how he played in practice this past week. When I made this prediction, because I took the Bengals in this game solely off of I know the Chiefs defense is not a high caliber defense like the 49ers and such like that. They're more of an offensive team. They just put up points, and that's how they beat these teams because they just put up so many points. The one thing I will say is if Mahomes is injured the way we saw it before, obviously the practice footage came out, I don't think the offense could handle the Bengals pass rush, the Bengals defense, and then on top of that, their offense the way they've been playing. This game could have easily gotten out of hand quickly. But the Chiefs, if Pat Mahomes is playing the way he is since we've seen practice, this game's a lot closer. It's going to be a shootout either way. Both offenses are going to put up points. I think it comes down to how aggressive Chiefs play offensively. That's literally what it's going to come down to. The Chiefs are literally going to have to put up more points than the Bengals. That's literally what it's going to come down to. They're going to have to score more. I mean, you have to score more to win, obviously, in the NFL.
Right.
But they're going to have to outscore the Bengals. That's what it's going to come down to.
And when you've got arguably two number one wide receivers on your team comparatively, you've got Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And then Joe Mixon and Joe Burrow is going to have time this game. Joe Burrow is going to have all the time that he wants this game because the Chiefs just
they don't have a superstar pass rush.
Right.
They have Chris Jones
is enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They have Chris Jones. Chris Jones is in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. He's a finalist for it.
Right.
But outside of him, no one has had like a standout season defensively.
Right.
George Karlaftis has had his ups and downs as a rookie. And outside that, I can't even tell you who else has more than like 5 sacks on the Chiefs defense this year.
I mean, you want to talk about defense for the Chiefs, right? First of all, they lost to the Colts at the beginning of the season, which it's the beginning of the season, but twice. One of the lowest scoring offenses in the NFL this past season. Twice.
Yeah.
They almost lost to the Broncos. They won by less than a 6-point margin across 2 games.
Okay, so if you eliminate Chris Jones and his sacks this year, the team only had 40 sacks total.
Yep.
No one had more than 6 sacks on this team, besides Chris Jones. So
yeah, I mean, just with what the Chiefs have on the offense is great. I think the offense is obviously
it's the best scoring offense on the NFL.
100%. But whenever, especially the Broncos, where Russell Wilson looks like
anything can happen on any given day in the NFL.
Right.
We've seen that every single week. Anything can happen any given week.
Right. But whenever the Broncos can score 27, 24, and 28 points, and you literally have to rely on your offense to make a play, that's not a winning recipe against a high-flying offense and a very good defense of the Bengals.
Yeah. I mean, anyone can lose to anyone. Anyone can beat anybody. What it comes down to is the coaching that day. It really does. Like, it happens. Like, the best team in the NFL could lose to the worst team in the NFL. It happens. The Texans did it to the Chiefs this past year. They literally did, up until, like, the last freaking quarter. Didn't they go to overtime? I don't know, am I crazy to say that? I'm pretty sure the Texans took the Chiefs to overtime.
The Chiefs went to overtime with the Titans as well, with Derrick Henry running for 150 yards on them.
The Texans also did it to the Cowboys. So you see what I'm saying? The Texans were the worst football team in the NFL. The worst.
The Texans Cowboys game was very much a very big FU to the front office. Lovie Smith knew he was gone, even though he came out and said, "Yeah, I'll be here."
Oh yeah,
he knew he was gone. He wanted to screw them out of the number 1 pick. Very much so.
I won't say that because I like Lovie Smith. I think he was just playing. He had no one wants to lose.
Yep.
You don't go into a week saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna lose." You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? We're
no.
gonna play our hearts out, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
You play to win, no matter what. As much as a fan wants your team to lose because you want picks or whatever, play like you're not playing to lose. Teams aren't playing to lose.
That Texans team though is on the up and up.
But that's besides the point. Like the Chiefs, they have the offense. Everyone knows that.
Yeah.
Will their defense keep them in the game long enough for the offense to put up the points? I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll have to see. Because Joe Burrow, he's my number 2 quarterback in the NFL this year. Number 2. I'll put him behind Pat Mahomes because Pat Mahomes has been fucking insane.
Phenomenal.
Insane. Like that's the MVP. It's not even close in my opinion. Burrows is my number 2, and it's that close. Like, I mean, it's not even that close. Pat Mahomes is here, Joe Burrow is here, and then everybody else is like right there. That's how I see it.
Right.
It comes down to Joe Burrow has stars on that offense around him. Pat Mahomes has Kelsey as stars. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Chiefs don't have superstar players. They have great players. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Pacheco's been great this year. Juju has been great in his career. He's not what he used to be, but he is still a very good receiver. But there's no stars on that team. It comes down to Pat Mahomes getting the ball into into their hands, but no one is a star-studded player where, like, you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins, you have Tyler Boyd. Hayden Hurst is a very, very, very good tight end. He's very underrated in my opinion. That dude is athletic as fuck. I don't. If last week didn't prove it, then I don't know what the fuck will. That dude can jump over people.
Yeah.
If that doesn't scream athleticism, I don't know what does. The offensive line is drastically improved, even with the injuries that they've had. Losing Lale Collins, losing Jonah Williams. The backups have stepped up. That offensive line is completely turned around, in my opinion. Completely. And then you have the running backs. You have Joe Mixon. You have Samaje Perine, who has been crazy good as a backup running back this year for them. He's stepped up massively. So, like, there is so much talent there on that Bengals offense, plus the number 2 quarterback in the NFL. Whereas you have the number 1 quarterback in the NFL, and then what? That
Right.
like it's question marks. Because like they've had great games, but they've also had games where they disappear. You know? So we'll have to see.
Right.
It's going to both of these games are going to be fantastic. Like this weekend of football is these 2 games are going to probably be the best games of the year.
This weekend is very much going to be either a game of we're on the edge of the seats for an entire 8-hour period,
Or we're snoozing.
or we're snoozing. Very much so.
But either way, like defensive games are fun to watch too. Like
Oh, yeah.
they are not exciting, but they're fun to watch.
Yeah,
Because like
definitely.
one play can change anything in those kinds of games. It comes
Especially
down to it.
whenever you're very football minded, like
Mhm.
I would say the 3 of us are, and you see the adjustments that teams make and the motions and everything else to counteract just the wall that they've run themselves into.
Yeah, to make one adjustment to make the play to win the game. Literally, because like that's what those games come down to, is making one play. And like I said, in that 49ers game, it's probably going to come down to one fucking play, whether it's a blowout game or whether it's a shootout or if it's a defensive battle. One play's going to change that game. It's the same thing with this Chiefs Bengals game, probably. It could very well come down to one play, literally.
My prediction for the 49ers game is going to be 24-21 Eagles. The 49ers are going to have the ball with like 3 minutes left, and there's going to be a pick from the Eagles defense. That's my prediction.
I could see that happening, honestly. Like,
Mhm.
someone's going to get pressure and Brock Purdy's going to make a mistake.
Mhm.
I will say, didn't really touch on it. Who the hell the 49ers play last week? Fuck. The Cowboys. The Cowboys kept Brock Purdy rolling to his left. When
Mm-hmm.
he rolls to his right, he's much more comfortable rolling to the right and throwing than he is to the left. I think the Eagles have to get that into that mindset of rolling Brock Purdy out to the left. I think that's the prime spot to cause issues for Brock Purdy, because if he's uncomfortable, he can make mistakes.
Right.
He's already
see what
proven that. Like if they're in his face and he's uncomfortable, he's thrown bad passes. He hasn't made
Has-
many mistakes. He's thrown what, 2 interceptions total in his career?
Mhm.
2,
Mhm.
I think is what it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
A total of 2, I think.
I'm pretty sure.
Let me look. He has.
Stats aren't showing. So I don't know.
He has a total of 4.
Total of 4. Okay.
4 in how many games?
7.
7. And he's thrown 13 touchdowns.
So
That's a minimum of 2 touchdowns and interception. Almost 3 touchdowns and interception.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah,
that's not bad.
no,
That's not bad at all.
I've never said it. Like he's had a phenomenal season. He really has. In his very limited
Right.
amount of playing. That's another thing is like, which I can touch on another time, but like,
Mhm.
give me more Brock Purdy with film than Brock Purdy without film,
Right.
because that's the big thing this year for Brock Purdy, and it's a
Right.
big thing for rookie quarterbacks. They don't have
No-
film on them.
Nobody,
College film doesn't count. You can't
No-
count college film.
nobody was expecting the last pick in the NFL draft to be playing this year
No,
in any way, shape, or form.
no. I don't think
But
the
what a
49ers
great
were.
story.
Oh yeah, really.
Let's talk about stories here. What do you guys want? Do you want a Kelsey Bowl, or do you want a Brock Purdy next thing in the NFL story?
I don't want either one of them.
No.
No.
What's your dream Super Bowl?
My Super Bowl? The Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles Bengals.
Eagles Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
I think my
I want
teams right now
Burrow to get a
are
ring.
Niners, Chiefs.
I want Burrow to get the ring that he deserved last year.
who cheated him out of the ring last year?
Aaron Donald.
Donald.
That's right. That's right. Whenever he was offsides.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's right. And if I remember correctly, somebody was wide open on that play too
Mm-hmm.
Jamar Chase.
Yep.
to win that game.
Jamar Chase was wide open.
But Aaron Donald got to Joe Burrow quick enough.
Yep.
Before he could throw the ball.
I want Burrow to get the ring that he deserves. And I'm taking the Eagles because it's my second team
Mm-hmm.
because of Merck.
Mm.
But
For me right now, my favorite is I think the Niners are going all the way this year. That team is just insane. Just insane. Like if you look at every position, it's insane.
I don't think the Niners are missing anything.
they,
Honestly,
they aren't.
No,
I've said
they're
it.
star-studded.
Well, I've said it countless times that I
single
genuinely
position.
think their twos could beat some of these NFL teams.
Their
Oh.
twos could be starters, bro.
No, like straight up, I genuinely think the twos on the 49ers could beat some of these NFL teams.
Yeah,
I
we'll
like
see.
straight up.
We'll see.
The Niners are insane, bro. That team
know,
is nuts. They got some threes that could start, bro. Like,
They have
I'd,
threes that can start. One is starting.
like
I'd take Brandon Ayuk over a couple of the receivers I have in Carolina. You know,
that man has been great this year, bro.
that's what I'm saying. I'd take
That
him.
man's been almost better than Debo.
He's had a breakout season. I wouldn't put him over Debo though. Debo does what nobody else can do on that
Debo
team.
does Debo things for a reason.
Bro, he had an 1,000-yard season
Mhm.
on in an offense that has weapons galore, meaning like he's not really going to be getting the touches every single game that
Right. I think
a
that's a big part of.
star-studded receiver would get. Meaning, if he went to a team and became a 1, this dude could go for 1,500 yards in a season, easy.
I think that's a big part of why Debo wanted out the way he did is because there's just so much in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. It's
You
almost
know?
too much. Almost.
Almost. There's too many choices.
And actually, yeah, Brandon Ayuk had a better receiving. I know Debo missed some games.
Debo
but
missed some games, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I really
he
took
had
off.
6 more touchdowns than Debo
Let's
Samuel
not
this year.
hang on. I need to look it up real quick because I don't know for sure, and I'm not going to say it before I say it. I've done that plenty of times.
I mean, Debo only missed 2 games this year.
I want to know what I did early on in the season. Yeah, Ayuk didn't take off really until Debo went down. Ayuk's come along late. He had 1 touchdown in week 3. Like in the first 5 weeks he had 1 touchdown. And then he took off from there.
Yeah. But I mean, the dude's, had a hell of a year. So
Yeah, I'm not taking it away. He's had a phenomenal season.
dude, it could be a wide receiver 1 on any team.
Yep. But
Yeah,
anywho, good week of games. I'm excited for them. Dust, do you have anything before we close up?
No, I don't. I'm good.
Luca, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at man, I forget at this point. You guys caught me at I'm just coming off of a sickness, but everybody can find me on Twitter at xMrLuco. I do a bunch of different stuff with esports, which I'm excited to be able to talk about hopefully later on during the life of this podcast. And then on Twitch at the same thing. It's everything should be xMrLuco at this point in time.
We'll plug you in the bio as well so people can find you. But other than that, we're looking forward to seeing who comes out on top in the championship games. We will see you next week. There's no games next week, but we're still gonna have an episode for the Pro Bowl. Gonna happen. But we'll catch you guys then.
About our 7-on-7 tag.
we'll see what it comes to. But you guys have a great one. We'll catch you next week. Peace, guys.